Hello everyone. I'd like to introduce you to a new segment of the Gamer Chef called Hindsight, where today I will be reviewing a actually fairly recent game, Darkspore, an action RPG slasher thing based on the Spore engine released by EA a couple months ago and currently on Steam for about $50 and constantly going on sale. Today, action RPGs are almost entirely about leveling up a character and making them as powerful as you can make them through loot, talent points, and any other ways that you can find. Torchlight is the big action RPG that most people are playing right now if they're playing an action RPG. The goal is simply to level up your character, gain fame, and gain loot so that you can make them as powerful as you possibly can. Darkspore, on the other hand, is nothing like that. In Darkspore, you do gain levels, but they don't make your individual character more powerful. Instead, what they allow you to do is unlock new heroes. See, whereas in most action RPGs, you focus on your one character and try to make them awesome, in this one, the goal is actually to make a squad of genetic heroes. They're individual characters with their own skill sets and powers, and you just want to make a group of them that work together as best as you can, or better yet, several groups. Each of the 100 different heroes in Darkspore has their own semi-unique abilities, and will almost always lend something new and interesting to your squad. Heroes are first divided up by energy type. They're either a cyber, necro, bio, plasma, or quantum type hero. The other classifying factor for your heroes is their class. They're either going to be a Ravager, a Sentinel, or a Tempest. Your Sentinels are going to be your big tanky guys. Tempests, which are most akin to a spellcaster, and then finally you have your Ravagers, which are big damage dealers. They're going to be your rogues, basically. I'm sure there are now two pretty big questions on your mind. One, where's the loot? It's an action RPG, there has to be loot. The other is, how does this relate to the Spore engine? This doesn't make any sense. Both of those kind of tie together, actually. See, in Darkspore, instead of, say, getting your tier 12 bracers for killing a boss, what you're going to get are a whole bunch of little bits, like he'll drop a hand that happens to give you this stat increase. It's actually kind of creepy when you think about it, but pretty cool. You then are able to attach these equipment that you steal from vanquished enemies or from obelisks that are the chests of this game, and you attach them to your creatures through the Spore editor. You can't customize every element of your hero, but you can customize a lot of it down to paint jobs, where you want items to be placed, how big, what shape you sort of want them to be in. And if you really like a piece of equipment, once it's outlived its usefulness, you can actually pay a tiny bit of DNA, which is the money in this world, to turn it into a detail item. And each character can have up to 6 detail items that are just there to look cool but don't add stat bonuses. One very important part of this game is that co-op is very heavily featured. The matchmaking system in the game is not amazing, I will fully admit that it's kind of broken, plus it has a very odd lobby system that keeps you separated from everybody, so it's sometimes hard for the matchmaking system to pair you with people, but when you do find a match, the co-op comes into its own. When you play co-op, you first of all get a major XP bonus for every person that's in your group, but you do also have to fight much, much harder enemies, including enemies that will lock down individual players, making it that much harder to kill everyone else that's still there. But the most important thing is that co-oping lets you get some of the best loot in the entire game. Each time you do a level, you earn a certain amount of medals, and those medals go towards stars that let you roll for higher items at the very end of your chain. A chain is just doing multiple levels at once, so if you do a ton of levels all at once, you can get a whole bunch of stars and get some really good items, because each star increases your chance of getting good items. You're guaranteed to get 4 if you do at least 4 levels in a chain, but if you get a whole bunch of stars, you can go all the way up to having a 100% chance of getting a hugely awesome item. Possibly the biggest hook that this game has is actually the squad building itself. You have 25 different heroes, each of whom has at least 3 different forms to customize into your own special squad that will do exactly what you want it to do. It's very similar to deck building in, say, Magic the Gathering, because half the fun is just trying to find a new squad format that no one has really thought of before and works very well. In summary, I find this game actually very addicting. The only thing that has managed to tear me away from it has been Borderlands, and the only reason for that is because it was ridiculously cheap on the summer sale. If you have the money, you might want to go out and try it. The community has an odd ebb and flow to it. Occasionally it will die down for a few days and then just immediately resurge. It is a very active community, though, and they are constantly updating it to fix broken things. Should point out, there's an entire PvP system in the game. I just do not play it very much, so I can't give my own personal opinion. Thank you very much for checking out the debut of Hindsight. Hopefully it will be instituted into the very first real Gamer Chef episode, which I hope to turn into a weekly thing. We'll see how that turns out once I can actually do it. Before I go, I'd like to point out a few more things that I have said on the blog a couple of times, but did apparently not get noticed. 1. I am still running the contest for a free copy of Sanctum. Comment on the blog. If you're not on the blog and someone managed to just find this on Blip TV, leave a comment there. I'm sure you can enter if you really want to. Best comment that I see wins a free copy of Sanctum. Like to keep pointing out, can't start any more contests till this one's over. Sorry, guys. Also, I'm going for a rules advisorship, and one of the best ways that I thought to study would be to say, hey guys, whoever has weird Magic the Gathering questions, specifically rules questions, feel free to ask them. If you put them in a comment form, they will count as an entrance to the Sanctum contest. So in closing, thank you all very much again, and go have some fun, please.